So apparently Morgan says that I can be free of my depression. This is something I've got to see.
Oh, your troubles are they or what they see. Look around you, then you may realize all the creatures saw with their lives.
How's it going, everyone? Just wanted to let you know, if you haven't done it already, please go ahead and subscribe. Apparently, if I don't put that call to action at the beginning of videos, YouTube will actually smite me. Anyways, if you aren't new here, you know the drill. We're going to do fan art, and then we're going to get into the video itself. So first we have a snail Suris from Draconic Rain, what looks to be a Rule 63 Suris from the back by I Am Oddity, and yet more Rule 63 Suris by Bumblin' Bee. I also want to shout something out really quick before I actually get started. As some of you may know, the backgrounds I use in my videos are from World of Warcraft. I physically go into Warcraft Classic and take some captures myself. A user on the Mancrick server named Tap and Sap actually helped me get a few of these recently. So I just wanted to give that very quick shout out before we get into the video itself. Alright, now that that's out of the way, let's begin!
What if I told you that anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, all those chains holding you down, they could be broken, you could be free?
Well, I've actually gotten a bit of a handle on the suicidal ideation issue, but I wouldn't mind getting a better handle on the depression and the anxiety.
Would you believe me? Highly unlikely.
Well, yeah, because people who offer cures to things like that usually are selling snake oil.
But you say you believe in God, the God who knows the number of hairs on your head.
And also engineers the situations that cause me to have them fall out. Balding sucks. Thanks, God.
The God who creates life from death.
I'm actually fairly certain there isn't any story where he creates life from death, maybe salvages life from death.
The God who put every single star in the sky, the God who created morning and night. You say you believe, you claim to be free.
Well, I don't say that I believe. That's not me. You're probably speaking to the wrong person here. Moreover, what does God have to do with anxiety, aside from the fact that God, by your definition, would be the person who engineered all the scenarios that caused it? And what's this about saying you're free? I don't think I am. Currently, I'm trapped on what I hope is a 1920 by 1080 screen.
In Christ. But how are you free? When you cry every single night, when anxiety controls your life, when depression tells you how to feel, when suicide's saying you should not be real, how are you free?
Well, those aren't exactly the things I thought I wasn't free because of. I was talking more about, like, existentially, and taxes. But yeah, sure, no, I'm bound by anxiety and depression. That actually is accurate, yes. But you said you were going to help me cure those things. I'm waiting for that.
You see, the enemy has a hold on you.
The enemy? Oh no. Is this where you tell me that Satan's the reason my brain no work too good?
He's making you think there's nothing you can do, keeping your eyes on your pain instead of everything you have to gain.
So a paradigm shift is what you're asking. Just a different flipping of perspective. I am not sure if you know how depression or anxiety work.
Because when Christ died on that tree, he didn't just die for me, he died for you. He died so we could be free.
You are aware that the Christian God is omnipotent, right? And if he's omnipotent, if he wants something, then it happens, right? That comes with omnipotence. If that God wants me free, then he can engineer a scenario in which it happens.
Not bound by the chains and bondage of this world.
You're right, that is a thing that my ideation told me once. Luckily I was able to ignore it. Maybe if you wouldn't tell me that would be great. I'm gonna go ahead and go out on a limb. It sounds like what you're gonna do is say that, hey, life sucks right now, but heaven's gonna be really cool, bro. If that's the route you're gonna go down, that isn't really helping anyone.
Not drowning in lies and false truths you have heard. You are free. Do you believe me?
No. Because I still owe taxes. I am not currently free of taxes. But if you're talking about the depression and anxiety, I am not free of those either.
You are free. Do not let the enemy plant seeds in your heart. Do not let the enemy tell you you're falling apart.
Do not pretend that your rhyming is art.
Do not accept the words. You'll just have to learn how to cope with it. Do not accept this is just your life now. I'm telling you, one day, it could even be right now, you're going to wake up and see how much power, how much authority you have been given by the one true King.
Okay, Morgan, I need to level with you right now. I hate to play fallacy bingo on a topic like this, but you're currently in category error central. Me believing or not believing in your god, or even your god's existence at all, exists in a completely separate category to my mental state. Like, if God exists, and I believe in him, or if God doesn't exist, and I believe in him, functionally, my mental state is the same. The ontology of that statement has nothing to do with our current predicament. Being granted arbitrary authority from a god that you believe in does not fix the actual problem.
When Jesus said, "It is finished," he did not mean, "It is finished, but only for a few years."
I mean, if we're talking about depression and anxiety, sometimes that is kind of what happens. Sometimes new traumas can actually cause your depression and anxiety to re-manifest, and then you sometimes end up needing to find new habits and new ways to tackle them. Or sometimes you fell out of the healthy habits that were helping you cope to begin with. But there's that word, cope. We all have our own internal traumas to cope with. But what you're doing here seems to be completely dismissing that and just saying that God will fix all, which is an incredibly idealized and somewhat privileged position to hold.
Or, "It is finished, but only for a certain amount of tears." No, he meant it is finished for good, forever. For the rest of eternity, I am here, I have won the victory. It is finished for you, all of you. My death, my resurrection, my ascension to heaven was so that no child of God would ever be overcome by death again.
Well, it's unfortunate that people who are children of God happen to die all the time. Though I'm imagining what you're talking about is the fact that after people die in your worldview, they'll be resurrected and go to heaven, which is cold comfort for people who are suffering in the here and now. What you're effectively selling at this point is a pipe dream. You're not actually giving people alleviation from their stress. You're not actually helping with the depression or the anxiety, and you most certainly are not helping with the suicidal ideation. Because what you've effectively argued this far with your spoken word poetry is that everything will be better for people after they die. And if part of the problem you were trying to solve was suicide related, I don't think telling people their problems will be solved after they're dead is going to help with that.
My death was so you could be free here on earth. You don't have to wait until you walk through the pearly gates. I died so you could be free right here, right now.
Okay, yes, but how? Because everything you've said up to this point indicates that the existence of heaven and that afterlife, the ability to be saved, is the light at the end of the tunnel people should be looking to for their paradigm shift. What are you functionally giving people in this video?
So when you say you believe in the God of the universe, understand that you're saying you believe you cannot be cursed by anxiety, depression, suicide.
Wait, so you're going to shame people for not believing in God the right way, because if they believed in God the right way, that would entail that they didn't believe they could have curses on them, like anxiety, depression, and other things that are most certainly not curses. Your answer to people who are suffering with mental conditions, chemical imbalances, and learned behavior from trauma is that they aren't believing in God the right way, and it's their fault. You're doing, effectively, finger-wagging. You're looking at people who are suffering and looking to you, as a content creator with a lot of subscribers, for answers, and you're wagging the finger at them, telling them that they weren't believing in God the right way or hard enough. You are aware that it's mentality like that that causes people to garner anxiety, right? That causes people to go, oh, you know what? This life kind of blows. I don't think I want to be here anymore. You're not selling people any kind of cure for those things. You're not even selling them help. You're gifting them shame.
By any other weapon the enemy wants to try and use to crush and break and hurt. You are saying you believe that yes, you are free. Don't get me wrong, there's pain in following Christ.
I would imagine that one of the methods of inflicting pain where following Christ is concerned are your videos.
There is warfare when you decide to lay down your life. To pick up your cross, there is suffering, there is loss. But it is all for a cause. It is all for the purpose of planting seeds, being a light, separating yourself from the world and its things.
So people should have a paradigm shift where they are focusing on the light at the end of the tunnel, which, regardless of you saying it's not, effectively is heaven. And because of that, they should set an example so that they can sow seeds for other people. But you do realize that when you're asking people to set an example like that, you're telling them to effectively live a lie, so that they look happy enough that other people will buy into that lie and then live the lie as well. And you sell the message that people should live this lie through shaming them that they are not living the lie well enough. I'm fairly certain that the Christians in my audience at this point are uncomfortable with your message.
It is all because he died to set us free, so that one day we can meet face to face in a place of eternal glory.
So it is the light at the end of the tunnel that you're giving people. Like, it literally is death. You're shaming them for not believing hard enough, and the thing that's going to help them is death. Morgan, I'm not certain if you realized when you wrote this spoken word poetry bit that that's effectively what you're telling your audience.
Where tears no longer exist, where pain has turned to bliss, and we can rejoice 24/7 in the arms of our Father up in heaven. So whether you're generation A, B, C, or X, Y, Z, with God as your Father, you are free. Do you believe?
No, I don't believe, and you've actually given me more reasons not to believe in the particular brand and flavor of God that you believe in. So let's recap. What you've effectively done here is you've said that people should believe in your God. And if they believed in your God, they would believe that they couldn't suffer from anxiety and depression. And then you think that the thing that's entailed from that is that they wouldn't suffer from them, because apparently believing that these things can't affect you is enough to not suffer from them. And even if they did suffer from them, the reason they shouldn't worry about that is because their perspective should be changed where their anxiety, depression, and suicidal ideation is concerned. And that perspective is changed because one day they'll be able to go to heaven. But you've effectively told the person who you recognize has an issue with suicidal ideation that their problem won't be fixed until they're dead. Because the light at the end of the tunnel you've given them is literally the light at the end of the tunnel. Or you've at least dismissed any problems they have currently on Earth right now, because it's more important that the light at the end of the tunnel exists for them. But as somebody who's struggled with suicidal ideation before, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know right now, telling people that things will get better when they die, when they have suicidal issues, is almost abusive. I say almost abusive because you're telling people through a parasocial relationship, but if you were saying this to somebody you knew in real life, and it wasn't just through a parasocial relationship like what we have here on YouTube, then I'd say that not only is your argument disgusting, which I already think it is, but you're basically being an abuser at that point. You're telling somebody who is struggling with the idea that they might need to die to solve their problems, that their problems are solved after they're dead. I don't think you've actually thought about the fact that your poem literally leads to that conclusion. I don't even have to take it out of context or overanalyze it for that. You've given the light at the end of the tunnel. And it's at this point that I realize that I may not have the command of the English language I thought I did, because I can't think of anything besides light at the end of the tunnel. I keep using that phrase. There's gotta be something else. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section below. Anyways, that's about all I've got for this video. I think the message is pretty repulsive, and I've detailed my reasons why. I'm not arguing that this was Morgan's intent, but I am arguing that these are the consequences of their actions. Anyways, with that all said, if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, maybe support me on Patreon if you want to do that, that would be kinda cool. And past that, I hope you're all having a wonderful day today. As always, everyone, insert end of video tagline here.
I dream of an absolution. 'Cause every night I